Did you know that some seemingly harmless habits in everyday life are secretly accelerating your aging process? Many of the things we used to do to feel safe, efficient, or simply comfortable can now be undermining our health, clarity, and self-control as we enter our 70s and beyond. Unfortunately, few people talk about this. And by the time we realize it, we've often paid the price in fatigue, aches, and missed appointments because our memory is starting to decline. This article will explore 6 seemingly harmless habits that have a big impact on your health and quality of life as you age. We're not here to dictate, but simply to share insights that can help you regain a sense of fullness, dynamism, and freedom, no matter your age. These are not vague advice or far-fetched ideals. These are common behaviors that many people over 70 fall into, sometimes just because they think this is normal. But the truth is, the things you do every day, out of convenience, habit, or fear of change, may be the biggest barrier to living a healthier, happier life. You may notice some familiar patterns in your own habits, and that's okay. Recognizing them is the first step to changing them. Because no matter your age, there are things you can do to feel stronger, more independent, and more fulfilled in life. Keep reading to the end, because you'll not only identify habits that may be hurting you, but you'll also find gentle, simple, and completely doable changes you can make to improve your life today. You don't have to turn your whole life upside down. Just start small, and do them consistently, intentionally. If you've ever thought that aging meant accepting fatigue, memory loss, or a sense of dependency, this article is for you. Age is real, but vitality is a choice. And every habit change you make today is a step closer to an aging that is not only healthy, but also worthwhile. 1. Skipping strength-building exercises is silently stealing your independence. As we age, many of us become more cautious, and rightfully so. We walk more carefully, avoid heavy lifting, and sometimes shy away from exercises that seem too demanding or risky. But in doing so, we often fall into a trap, thinking that rest equals safety. In reality, one of the most damaging habits after 70 is avoiding strength-building activities altogether. The fear of getting hurt, or simply the assumption that "I'm too old for that now," keeps many older adults from engaging in the very movements that could protect their mobility, independence, and longevity. When you stop using your muscles, they weaken. It's that simple. And unlike in our younger years, muscle loss after 70 happens at an accelerated rate. This natural process, called sarcopenia, can begin as early as your 30s but becomes dramatically more significant in your later decades. Without regular strength-based exercises, older adults can lose as much as 15% of their muscle mass each decade, which leads to frailty, poor balance, and increased risk of falls, one of the leading causes of injury-related death in older populations. What's more, this loss of muscle doesn't just affect your ability to lift groceries or climb stairs. It impacts your metabolism, your joint health, your posture, and even your brain function. Muscle tissue helps regulate blood sugar, supports your immune system, and promotes the release of hormones that keep your mind sharp and your mood stable. In short, strength is not just about movement. It's about keeping your entire body and mind working as one resilient, balanced unit. And here's the good news. It's never too late to rebuild what you've lost. Even people in their 80s and 90s have shown remarkable improvements in strength, balance, and confidence after just a few weeks of consistent resistance training. You don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership. Bodyweight exercises like squats using a chair, wall push-ups, or resistance band training can be done safely at home. The key is consistency. Doing small, manageable exercises several times a week can be far more effective and sustainable than overexerting yourself once in a while. If you're worried about injury, start by consulting a physical therapist or joining a beginner-friendly senior fitness class. Many programs are now tailored specifically for older adults, focusing on gentle, low-impact movements that build strength without straining joints. The goal isn't to become a bodybuilder. It's to make daily tasks like standing up from a chair, lifting a bag, or reaching a cupboard feel effortless again. Avoiding strength-building activities might feel like you're protecting yourself, but in truth, it's slowly taking away your freedom. The ability to move with ease, to do things without help, and to trust your body. These are gifts you can give yourself, no matter your age. Don't let fear or old habits convince you otherwise. A stronger body means a more independent life, and you deserve nothing less than that. 2. Eating like you're still 40 could be costing you your health. Many people in their 70s proudly say, "I've always eaten like this, and I'm still here." And while that may be true, what worked for your body in your 40s doesn't always serve you well in your 70s. Continuing to eat like you're decades younger might feel familiar and comforting, but it can silently contribute to a decline in your energy, digestion, and long-term health. The truth is, your nutritional needs evolve with age, and your diet should evolve with them. At 40, your body is generally more forgiving. Your metabolism runs faster, your digestive system is more robust, and you're likely more physically active. That means it can handle larger portions, higher fat intake, and the occasional indulgence with fewer noticeable consequences. But by your 70s, everything from digestion to nutrient absorption slows down. Your stomach produces less acid, your intestines don't extract nutrients as efficiently, and your body begins to lose lean muscle mass at a faster rate. These changes mean that eating the same way you did 30 years ago may actually be depleting your energy rather than fueling it. One common mistake is keeping the same portion sizes, often too large for your current activity level, which can lead to unwanted weight gain, insulin resistance, or digestive issues like bloating and constipation. Similarly, a diet high in red meat, processed foods, or added sugars, which might not have caused much trouble in your 40s, can now raise the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, or inflammation in the joints. And then there's sodium. Many older adults continue eating heavily salted foods out of habit, even though their kidneys are less efficient, and their blood pressure is more sensitive to salt. On the flip side, older adults often underconsume critical nutrients like calcium, vitamin D, B12, magnesium, and fiber, all of which are essential for maintaining bone density, muscle strength, and cognitive function in later years. As your appetite naturally decreases with age, every bite matters more. It's not just about eating less, it's about eating smarter. So what does smart eating look like after 70? It's about prioritizing nutrient-dense foods, colorful vegetables, lean proteins, especially fish and plant-based sources, whole grains, healthy fats like olive oil, and plenty of water. It also means adjusting how you eat. Smaller, more frequent meals may be easier to digest. Soft, easy-to-chew foods might be more comfortable if dental issues are present. And paying attention to hydration, something many older adults neglect, can dramatically improve energy, memory, and digestion. Changing lifelong habits can be emotionally challenging. Food is tied to comfort, culture, and memory. But adapting doesn't mean giving up everything you love. It means modifying and modernizing your diet to support the version of you that exists now. That might mean baking instead of frying, choosing brown rice instead of white, or adding a handful of greens to your morning eggs. The key message? Don't let your diet stay stuck in the past. Just as your lifestyle, sleep patterns, and physical abilities shift with time, so should your eating habits. Eating like you're still 40 may feel normal, but your body is asking for a different kind of nourishment now, one that honors your current stage of life and helps you stay strong, clear-headed, and active for years to come. 3. Withdrawing from social connections can age you faster than you think. In our later years, it can feel easier, even natural, to pull back from the social world. Maybe you've retired and no longer see coworkers daily. Perhaps close friends have moved away, or health issues make it harder to leave the house. Or maybe you've simply grown used to the quiet. While some solitude is peaceful and even restorative, too much isolation can quietly erode both your mental and physical health, often faster than we realize. Social withdrawal doesn't always look dramatic. It might start with saying no to a weekly coffee date, skipping family events because it's too much effort, or gradually spending more time alone with the TV than in conversation with others. But over time, these small choices can add up. Numerous studies have shown that chronic loneliness is linked to higher rates of cognitive decline, depression, weakened immunity, and even a shortened lifespan, risks comparable to smoking or obesity. The reason? We are wired for connection. Human interaction stimulates the brain, boosts mood-regulating hormones like serotonin and oxytocin, and gives life purpose and rhythm. Without regular social engagement, the mind becomes understimulated, which may accelerate memory loss or feelings of confusion. Physically, loneliness can increase inflammation and disrupt sleep, making it harder to heal, rest, and recover. It's not just about having people around. It's about meaningful relationships. A person can be surrounded by others yet still feel profoundly lonely. What really matters is having at least a few people you feel safe with, seen by, and connected to. These are the relationships that buffer stress, motivate healthy habits, and remind us we're not alone in our experiences. Of course, maintaining social connections in your 70s and beyond requires more intention than it might have in your 30s or 40s. It's not always as easy as walking into the office or chatting with parents at your kid's school. But it's far from impossible. Joining a local walking group, participating in community classes, volunteering, or even engaging in online communities can reignite a sense of belonging. And sometimes, it's as simple as calling an old friend or reaching out to a neighbor for tea. For those who are introverted or have grown comfortable in solitude, the idea of reconnecting can feel awkward at first. But social connection doesn't have to mean big crowds or constant activity. Even brief, one-on-one conversations, whether in person, on the phone, or over video, can make a difference. It's about staying emotionally open, curious, and willing to share pieces of your day with others. Another often overlooked benefit of staying socially connected? It helps us stay more physically active and mentally engaged. Social invitations often lead to movement, whether it's walking to meet someone, dancing at a gathering, or just tidying up before guests arrive. Conversation also keeps the brain sharp, improves vocabulary, and helps process thoughts more clearly. The bottom line: aging well doesn't happen in isolation. Just as your body needs movement and your mind needs stimulation, your heart needs connection. Don't let the quiet of aging turn into disconnection. Reach out. Make the call. Say yes to the invitation. Because while growing older is inevitable, growing isolated is not, and your future self will thank you for staying connected to the world around you. 4. Avoiding technology and new experiences may be aging you faster than you know. There's a common myth that after a certain age, it's too late to learn new things, especially when it comes to technology. Many older adults avoid smartphones, resist learning how to use video calls, or steer clear of apps and digital tools altogether. And while this may seem harmless or even understandable, consistently avoiding new experiences, especially technological ones, can quietly accelerate mental aging and limit your ability to stay connected, engaged, and independent. In today's world, technology is not just for the young, it's for anyone who wants to stay mentally sharp and socially connected. Engaging with technology challenges the brain in powerful ways. It improves memory, problem-solving skills, and even hand-eye coordination. Just the act of learning something new, whether it's how to send a voice message, book a ticket online, or stream music, stimulates neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new connections and pathways. And yes, even in your 70s and beyond, your brain is still capable of learning and adapting. But the benefits go far beyond cognitive health. Embracing technology also reduces feelings of isolation. Through simple tools like video calls, messaging apps, and social media, you can keep in touch with loved ones no matter how far away they are. Grandchildren can share photos instantly, old friends can reconnect, and virtual groups or clubs can provide a sense of community, all without leaving your home. Avoiding these tools, on the other hand, often leads to missed connections and a growing sense of disconnection from the modern world. It's not just about phones and computers either. Avoiding new experiences in general, whether it's trying a new type of food, learning a language, or taking up a hobby like painting or yoga, sends a subtle signal to the brain: I'm done growing. And that message can be harmful. Growth doesn't stop when you turn 70. In fact, curiosity, adaptability, and a willingness to try new things are some of the most powerful tools for aging well. Of course, trying something unfamiliar can be intimidating, especially when you're used to a certain routine. There may be a learning curve, mistakes, or even frustration. But none of that means failure. It means you're stretching your brain in the best way possible. And the confidence that comes from figuring something out, no matter how small, is often energizing. There are more resources than ever before to help older adults get comfortable with technology. Libraries, community centers, and even tech-savvy grandchildren can be wonderful teachers. Online tutorials, written guides, and in-person classes are widely available and often free. And the truth is, most technology today is designed to be user-friendly. It's just a matter of giving it a chance. But perhaps the most compelling reason to embrace new things is this: it keeps your sense of identity alive. When you try something new, you remind yourself and others that you're still curious, still evolving, still engaged with life. That's not just good for your brain, it's good for your spirit. So whether it's sending your first emoji, signing up for a new class, or simply asking for help setting up a video call, take the leap. Say yes to new tools, ideas, and experiences. Because staying young at heart has less to do with age and everything to do with attitude. 5. Letting chronic stress control you can secretly age you from the inside out. We often think of stress as something that comes and goes, a reaction to a specific event or pressure. But when stress becomes constant and unmanaged, it doesn't just affect your mood, it begins to take a real toll on your body and mind. For older adults especially, chronic stress is one of the most underestimated threats to long-term health, energy, and cognitive vitality. As we age, our bodies become less resilient to prolonged states of tension. Stress hormones like cortisol, when elevated for too long, can lead to inflammation, a silent but destructive force linked to a range of age-related illnesses, including heart disease, diabetes, depression, and even dementia. Chronic stress can also weaken the immune system, making it harder to fight off infections and slower to recover from illness. In short, long-term stress quietly speeds up the aging process, both inside and out. And the damage doesn't stop at the physical level. Chronic stress affects your sleep quality, decision-making, memory, and emotional well-being. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to concentrate or feel joyful when you're constantly worried or tense? That's not just in your head, it's a biological response. Prolonged exposure to stress disrupts the brain's chemistry, shrinking areas responsible for memory and emotional regulation, while overactivating areas linked to fear and anxiety. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond carry stress without realizing it. It may not come from a fast-paced job anymore, but it might show up in different forms: financial uncertainty, caregiving responsibilities, health worries, or even loneliness. What's dangerous is when this stress becomes so normalized that it fades into the background, slowly draining energy, hope, and vitality day after day. The good news? Stress is not something you're powerless against, especially not with the right tools and mindset. Simple daily practices like deep breathing, light exercise, journaling, or even just spending time in nature can significantly reduce cortisol levels and improve your overall well-being. Meditation and mindfulness practices are especially effective for older adults, not only in managing stress, but in promoting clarity, acceptance, and inner calm. Building strong social connections is another powerful buffer against chronic stress. Talking to a friend, laughing, or sharing a meaningful conversation can release oxytocin, the brain's natural stress reliever, and remind you that you're not alone in your challenges. Never underestimate the healing power of companionship. It's also important to reframe your relationship with stress itself. Instead of seeing it as a weakness or something to suppress, recognize it as your body's signal that something needs attention. Maybe you're doing too much, saying yes when you should say no, or neglecting your own needs. Listening to those cues is a form of self-respect and an essential part of aging with wisdom. If you find yourself constantly overwhelmed, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists, support groups, or even a conversation with a trusted doctor can provide guidance and relief. There's nothing shameful about needing support. In fact, reaching out is often the most courageous and life-changing step a person can take. Ultimately, managing stress is not about achieving a perfectly calm life. It's about building resilience, finding balance, and choosing peace over pressure again and again. Because a calm mind and a centered heart are not luxuries in older age, they are necessities for a long, healthy, and vibrant life. 6. Ignoring minor health symptoms might be a bigger risk than you think. As we age, it's easy to dismiss certain aches, changes, or discomforts as just part of getting older. A slight pain here, a bit of fatigue there, or a mild cough that lingers longer than usual. Many people in their 60s and beyond have trained themselves to overlook these signs, chalking them up to age or lifestyle. But what if these seemingly minor symptoms are actually your body's way of sounding the alarm? One of the most common mistakes older adults make is ignoring small health changes, either out of habit, fear, or the belief that they're not worth mentioning. However, in many cases, those small signs are the early warnings of something far more serious developing silently in the background. And by the time they become impossible to ignore, treatment becomes more complex, the damage may be greater, and recovery may take longer. For example, persistent indigestion could point to gastrointestinal issues or even early heart disease. A slight tremor in the hand might be the first clue to a neurological condition like Parkinson's. Sudden changes in weight, appetite, memory, or mood may indicate hormonal imbalances, mental health concerns, or early cognitive decline. And even something as simple as frequent nighttime urination can signal diabetes or prostate issues. The key takeaway? No symptom is too small when it comes to your health, especially after age 60. Many older adults avoid discussing these symptoms because they don't want to bother their doctor or they fear being labeled as hypochondriacs. Others are afraid of what they might discover, so they choose denial over detection. But this mindset can be dangerous. In today's world of preventive medicine and early intervention, addressing a small issue early often leads to faster treatment, better outcomes, and a much lower risk of complications. It's also important to recognize that aging doesn't mean you have to live in discomfort or with reduced function. Modern medicine has made it possible to treat and manage a wide range of conditions, but only if they're caught early enough. Being proactive about your health doesn't make you weak or anxious. It makes you wise, responsible, and self-aware. Creating a habit of regular check-ins with your body is one of the smartest things you can do as you grow older. Take note of what feels different, even subtly. If something lingers, worsens, or appears suddenly, don't ignore it. Write it down and bring it up at your next appointment. Having a clear record can help your doctor understand your health more fully and detect patterns that may otherwise go unnoticed. In addition, don't underestimate the value of routine screenings and health checkups. Blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose levels, bone density, vision, and hearing tests, these are not just boxes to check. They are tools that can protect your quality of life. Lastly, if you're someone who's brushed off symptoms in the past, it's never too late to change that mindset. Start now. Build a partnership with your healthcare provider that's based on openness, curiosity, and prevention. Ask questions. Speak up. Trust that your concerns deserve to be heard. Your body is always communicating with you. The question is, are you listening? Sometimes, the smallest whisper from your body can prevent the loudest crisis. When you stop ignoring minor health symptoms and start acting on them, you're not just preserving your physical health, you're also showing yourself that you're worth the attention, the care, and the time. And that mindset can be the difference between simply aging and truly thriving. 7. Relying only on your memory can quietly sabotage your independence. As we move through our 60s and beyond, it's easy to assume that we can continue functioning the way we always have. After all, you've been managing your appointments, remembering birthdays, keeping up with daily tasks. Why should that change now? But here's the quiet truth. Leaning entirely on memory, without support tools, becomes riskier with age. And over time, it can quietly undermine your confidence, independence, and even safety. Many people pride themselves on having a sharp memory, and that's a good thing. But memory, like muscle, is subject to wear and strain. As we get older, the brain naturally undergoes changes in processing speed, recallability, and attention. This doesn't necessarily mean cognitive decline, but it does mean that depending solely on your memory to organize your life can lead to small, frustrating slip-ups or worse, serious oversights. Forgetfulness in older adults is often brushed off as harmless. But forgetting to take medication on time, misplacing important documents, or missing a medical appointment can have real consequences. What starts as an occasional senior moment can turn into a pattern of disorganization that affects your well-being and independence. The good news? There's no shame in using external tools to support your memory. In fact, it's one of the smartest things you can do for healthy aging. Using calendars, reminders, pill organizers, journals, digital apps, or even sticky notes isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategy. Athletes use equipment. Professionals use software. Pilots use checklists. These tools don't replace skill, they enhance it. When you support your brain with structured systems, you reduce the mental load and free up cognitive energy for more meaningful tasks, like learning, connecting, and enjoying life. Another reason not to rely entirely on memory is that memory doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's deeply tied to sleep quality, nutrition, stress, physical activity, and social engagement. A bad night's sleep or a high-stress week can throw off your recall significantly, even if you're usually sharp. Having reliable memory aids in place provides a backup plan for those less than optimal days. Also, consider the emotional toll of memory lapses. Constantly second-guessing whether you locked the door, turned off the stove, or took your medication can create anxiety and rob you of peace of mind. By building a lifestyle that doesn't demand perfect memory performance, you reduce stress and increase confidence in your daily routine. There's also an important preventative aspect to this. Regularly using tools to track tasks and details creates a memory safety net. And that safety net becomes even more valuable if early signs of cognitive decline do appear. It helps you and your loved ones notice changes more clearly and gives doctors a clearer picture of your mental habits and patterns. So instead of trying to prove that you can remember everything, take pride in creating a system that helps you do everything. Make it easier on yourself, not because you're failing, but because you're planning to thrive well into your later years. Small steps make a big difference. Write things down, keep consistent routines, use technology to your advantage, and talk openly with your doctor if you notice changes in your focus or recall. Acknowledging your brain's changing needs doesn't make you less capable. It makes you wise, prepared, and resilient. In the end, it's not about memory perfection. It's about making your life smoother, safer, and more enjoyable. And that's a goal worth remembering. 8. Not prioritizing sleep and rest, a critical oversight in healthy aging. As we age, the importance of sleep and rest cannot be overstated. In our earlier years, we may have been able to survive on little sleep, pushing through the day without much consequence. However, as we grow older, our bodies require more rest to function at their best. Unfortunately, many people neglect this vital aspect of health, either due to busy schedules, a sense of productivity, or the mistaken belief that sleep becomes less essential with age. The reality is that sleep is crucial for maintaining both mental and physical health as we get older. During sleep, the body undergoes vital processes such as tissue repair, muscle recovery, and the strengthening of the immune system. It's also during sleep that the brain processes information, consolidates memories, and removes toxins that accumulate throughout the day. A lack of quality sleep can significantly impact all of these functions, leading to long-term health consequences. Chronic sleep deprivation can lead to a host of issues, from increased risk of chronic conditions like heart disease and diabetes to cognitive decline and even depression. It can also impair the body's ability to regulate hormones, which can contribute to weight gain, decreased energy levels, and weakened immune function. In addition, poor sleep quality can worsen existing health conditions, making it more difficult to manage pain, stress, or even mobility issues. As we age, getting enough restorative sleep becomes even more important for overall well-being. Unfortunately, many older adults suffer from sleep disturbances, whether it's difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early. Factors such as chronic pain, medications, and changes in the circadian rhythm, the body's natural sleep-wake cycle, can all contribute to these issues. However, despite these challenges, it's important to prioritize sleep and develop habits that support healthy sleep patterns. One of the first steps is creating a sleep-friendly environment. This means a cool, quiet, and dark room where you can fully relax without distractions. Avoiding screens and stimulating activities an hour or two before bed can also help signal to your body that it's time to wind down. Additionally, it's essential to maintain a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends, to help regulate your internal clock. Incorporating relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing, meditation, or gentle stretches, can also help promote better sleep. These practices reduce stress and calm the nervous system, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Avoiding caffeine and large meals close to bedtime is another key strategy, as these can interfere with the body's ability to enter a restful sleep state. On the other hand, neglecting sleep by staying up late or trying to get by with only a few hours of rest each night can have serious repercussions. Chronic sleep deprivation accelerates aging, affects cognitive function, and increases the risk of accidents or falls, especially in older adults. It can also negatively affect mood, making you more susceptible to anxiety and depression. Moreover, poor sleep quality has been linked to a higher likelihood of developing memory problems or conditions like dementia. If you are struggling with sleep, it's crucial to consult a healthcare provider. Sleep disorders are common as we age, but they can often be addressed with the right treatment. Whether it's adjusting medications, managing pain, or seeking help for sleep apnea, there are steps you can take to improve your sleep quality. Making sleep a priority is not a luxury but a necessity for healthy aging. By ensuring that you get enough rest, you not only feel better but also support your body's ability to heal, rejuvenate, and stay strong. Sleep is a cornerstone of good health, and by giving it the attention it deserves, you enhance your overall well-being and quality of life. One of the key messages is the need to maintain healthy eating and exercise habits. As we age, our bodies may not be as flexible and strong as they once were, but that doesn't mean that exercise is no longer important. In fact, maintaining a moderate exercise routine can help keep us more flexible, reduce the risk of chronic disease, and improve cardiovascular health. In addition, a healthy diet, like when we were in our 40s, provides essential nutrients, helps the body maintain energy, and improves immunity. In addition, maintaining positive social relationships is extremely important. As we age, we tend to isolate and withdraw, but this can lead to feelings of loneliness and depression. Participating in community activities and interacting with friends and family not only improves our spirits, but also brings a sense of happiness and connection. In addition, paying attention to overall health and not ignoring minor symptoms is very important. Do not let small health problems become big problems just because of lack of timely attention. When you feel that your body has unusual signs, going to the doctor and getting early treatment can help you prevent many dangerous diseases. Finally, getting enough sleep and resting properly are indispensable factors to maintain good health. Sleep not only helps the body recover, but also plays an important role in maintaining alertness, dynamism, and reducing the risk of disease. Do not underestimate the importance of sleep, because it is a valuable medicine that helps you live a healthy and happy life. In short, to live long and healthy, you not only need to maintain good habits, but also need to know how to take care of yourself, focusing on physical and mental health. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.